Hello YouTube. As most of you know, Ronnie James Dio died yesterday. I was always a huge fan of Ronnie James Dio. I was a fan when Dio was with Rainbow. I was a fan of Dio when he was with Black Sabbath. I was a fan of Dio when he had his own band, Dio. And I followed him for many years, and I have nothing but the utmost respect for Ronnie James Dio for numerous reasons. Ronnie James Dio was one of the artists in heavy metal that really brought a lot of integrity to it. A lot of times, heavy metal is presented in the media as being not really music, is portrayed as being, especially nowadays, you get the feeling that people who play heavy metal are on drugs or they're brainless or whatever. And that's totally not true. And Ronnie James Dio is definitely a fist to the face in regards to any kind of views like that. Ronnie James Dio, if you watch any of his interviews, you would see that he was highly intelligent and he really had an eye for talent. He really he knew his music. He knew about the things he sung about. You know, he was just an all-around great guy. And like I said before, I hate the fact that he died. You know, it's just one of those things I guess we have to deal with in life. And I think right now we live in, at least for myself, speaking personally, it's an interesting time that we live in now because we're starting to see a lot of rock stars in their old age as they get older, you know, approaching middle age and whatnot. And you can really tell the ones who live healthy lives. You can tell who really, you know, the ones who didn't. You can tell the ones who really stayed true to their music. And Ronnie James Dio is just the epitome of someone who stayed true to his music and, you know, stayed away from drugs and stayed away from any kind of you know, scandal or anything along those lines. I remember seeing an interview with Ronnie James Dio when he said the things that he did in his life, he would always ask this one question, you know, if I'm about to do something, if I'm about to put out material or whatever, is it something my parents will be proud of? You know, something that they would not be ashamed of. And I think that's how I live my life too. You know, that's a very good starting point on how to live your life. And you know, he was just a first class person. I wish I would have got a chance to meet him in person. I did see him in concert, one of the last concerts that he gave. He was here in the summer, and I actually had to miss that concert because I had to work. But I had planned to go see him, you know, when he toured again, but unfortunately that's impossible now. But I know I'm not alone here. I know Ronnie James Dio had a lot of fans out there, and you know, including myself. And you know, I really, really hated to see him go. But his music is still around, so I will be featuring a lot of Ronnie James Dio's music here on my channel. So those of you who are fans of Ronnie James Dio, you know, check them out. If you have any videos of Ronnie James Dio with Rainbow, with Black Sabbath, some videos that not that many people have seen, send me the link and I'll post it here. Or actually, I would say send me the link, but nowadays people are I hate to say this, but people are stealing other people's accounts. So don't send me the link. I'll just find them myself. I hate to say that. That really sucks. That certain people will here on YouTube will send links to you, and then all of a sudden you lose your account because someone's taken over your page. But that's a whole nother issue and a whole nother video. Anyway, back to Ronnie James Dio. See, what else can I say about Dio? People like Dio, Ronnie James Dio, and Richie Blackmore, and let me see who else. A lot of those guys who are really into classical music, along with being into blues and other forms of music that influence heavy metal, these are people that really inspired me to go to college and study music professionally. People like Dio, people like Blackmore, because they drew a lot from classical music. So I mean that's something else that I really like about Dio. I'm pretty sure if I were able to sit down and have tea with Ronnie James Dio, we could talk for days about classical music. So that's something else I really liked about Dio. And another thing that really gets me is sometimes you see heavy metal portrayed in the media as being this mindless music that people who are on drugs or people who are unstable or whatever, this is supposedly the music that they listen to. But if we listen to a lot of heavy metal, even the more simpler forms of metal, it's harder to play than pop. Is harder to play than other forms of quote unquote popular music out there, or underground music. So that's to say, that tells you something there. But Dio, he would definitely be missed. Um, Another thing I want to say about Dio is when I look back at music that really influenced me. When I say influence, I mean music that has a esoteric or a mystical or a occult theme to it. Dio's music definitely ranks up the high point for me, because his music was very esoteric and it was very mystical, and I just hate that he's no longer around. But I'm pretty sure that there's going to be new music that's going to come out from people who handle Dio's music. So I'm pretty sure we're going to see some new stuff that's going to come out. But anyway, as I said before, he's going to be sorely missed. He never stopped making music. That's what I really like about Dio. He died at the age of 67, and he was still on stage doing hard rock and heavy metal. That says something there. I just it's sort of like seeing your grandfather on stage, staying true to his music and still doing it with the same force and the same passion that he did when he was younger. And how many artists can you say can still do that today? Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy some of the Dio music that I'll be featuring here on my channel. I hate that I really hate that I even had to do this video, but I had to say my goodbyes to Dio. He will be sorely missed, and I will always be a fan. So to you, Dio, we rock and you rock wherever